Uh, so last we left off, you guys arrived in the city of Alperen. You discovered that this very large city seems to be situated in sort of a magical valley within this mountain range. And you discovered that there are several different sections to the city. There's the Everblue, which is dedicated to Shanti. Um, there is Evening Shroud, which is dedicated to Kelimvor. There is... I have to fucking find it in my notes. There's the Righteous Walk, which is dedicated to Tyr. And then, of course, there is the section of the city that you have yet to access called Mistglade, which is dedicated to Mystra. You had learned that Mistglade seems to be under some sort of quarantine. And unfortunately for some of you, it is the only part of the city where you're allowed to cast arcane magic. The walls to the sector of the city are heavily guarded and seem to have different wards put up to protect it. And you had decided that you would continue your investigation the next day, after taking a rest in a theme tavern within Evening Shroud, run by a tabaxi. May be haunted, may not be haunted, who knows? While in your rooms for the evening, Demir had stepped out onto the balcony, and noticed a mysterious hooded figure, having rolled well enough to notice the clasp on their cloak being that of a blank scroll, seeming to be steadily making their way through the street. So, that is where we are picking up. Demir, what are you doing?
Hang on, my headphones are being a bitch. I should probably be smart. Demir is going to kind of climb up on the balcony a little bit, and she'll send a message into the room for Lish, and just Edwin, there's a guy. I think we should follow him. And we're high enough that, right, I tried to see if I could get on the roof last time. How fast is the guy moving? Is he like booking it?
He is moving pretty quick, but he's moving pretty quick, but he's also making sure that he's kind of staying out of the way.
Okay, so if I were to go down through the pub, I wouldn't necessarily lose him right away.
Maybe. I don't know.
You could also go through the window, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. How far of a drop down is it from the balcony?
You are on the second floor. There, we established last time that there is a balcony above you. I mean, it's a decent drop. if you just fling yourself over the side of a balcony.
I mean, is it possible to climb down off of the balcony, or is it a feather fall situation?
I mean, I will say with an acrobatics check, you can try.
Sure, I'll try that.
Does anybody have a hunter's mark or equivalent spell? Not you. Although Hex can kind of work that way.
I can find people, but I don't know if we'll need it.
$22 acrobatics to try and climb down off the balcony without falling on my ass.
So you were able to go over the railing and kind of shimmy your way down, and then get into a long arm hold on the very edge of the balcony, and then drop into a roll without hurting yourself.
I missed it. Did she tell us she's doing this?
Demir has some experience sneaking down off of balconies and shit. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can't kind of stealthily follow him.
All right, roll a stealth check.
Wild roses. I'm in hot pursuit of the suspicious individual.
Surprisingly, I rolled 22 again. Same roll.
All right. Okay. The person does not seem to notice you as they're making their way more or less westward in the direction of Mistglade.
Did Lish respond to my message at all?
You were busy climbing out the window. I haven't had a chance to respond. I think Lish would be awake more or less when you started rambling.
You don't sleep. You just got a message from your wife, and you glance out towards the balcony to see her just drop off of it into the darkness. And
just like, what the fuck? So I guess he'll kind of give Tobias a bit of a shake, see if he can't wake Tobias up, and he'll go out to the balcony and see what the fuck is going on.
Roll perception check.
Mm-hmm. 14.
You have no idea where Demir is.
Oh, good. I guess I will polymorph, or not polymorph, I will wild shape.
Tobias offers to wake up the others in the other room, asking if we need everyone on this.
Lish will say, I'm not sure.
All right.
She just said that there was someone weird. But Lish is going to turn into an owl, I guess. Can I turn into owls yet? I think I can. Yes, I can. I will turn into an owl and see if I can't spy her with the night owl vision.
All right. Another perception check.
God, my rolls. 16.
Rolled a 22. You're not really sure where she is. Meanwhile, Damir, you are in pursuit of this mysterious person. Do you want to go ahead and roll me a religion check?
Sure. Ooh. What is my okay. 21.
21. You're following this person and you're thinking like, okay, a blank scroll. I feel like I've heard of this before. And it suddenly strikes you. Oh, that is the symbol of Agma, the god of knowledge.
Oh, that's really good. Hopefully I'm not 120 feet away from the hotel.
I mean, I will say you're getting close to 120 feet away from the hotel.
Okay, just before I do, Demir will send another message Lish's way and just, I think it's a priest of Algma. He's headed towards the,
Mistglade.
Thank you. He's headed towards the Mistglade. I'm following him. Whispered message.
Do I know what path that is at this point?
You know that there is more or less a main path, but if you head westward, you will be able to reach the stone walls eventually.
Okay. Well, I will kind of start to head that direction then.
Okay. Another perception check for me, please.
Okay. Please roll above a 10. Literally anything. Another 16. Great.
Okay. You're looking around, the streets are dark. There aren't too many people out at this hour. But there are guards at the wall, ever present. And it is in one of the clearings in front of this sector of the city, Lish. And Damir, you can spot this as well. But this cloaked figure steps out, raises a hand towards the guards, and then disappears in a puff of mist.
Did the guards acknowledge them?
Mm-hmm.
And they disappeared. Fuck. Oh. Demir will stop where she is and just look around and see if she can try and figure out with her magic eyes if he reappears maybe on the other side, if there's, I assume, illusion magic?
Conjuration. There was a little bit of conjuration essence as he disappeared.
Motherfuck. Okay, she'll stop for now. And if I look up, do I see like a bird or an owl or a deer around?
At this point, yeah.
Okay, she'll send a message towards the owl. Just on suspect. Fuck, he disappeared. I think he cast a spell.
But she'll just, I don't know. Can I reply to this? Yes, right?
Yeah.
Caw, caw. Hoo, hoo, hoo.
What the fuck kind of owls are you hanging out with?
Say wild ones. He'll ask where.
Right in front of this square. Is there like a name or any identifying features to it, or is it just an empty square?
This is the square you guys were in before when you were trying to poke around to see if you could possibly figure out a way to sneak into Mistglade.
Where we were earlier, trying to sneak around the gate. The guards just let him cast magic, I guess. They're not as strict about their quarantine protocols.
Can Lish see this gate?
Mm-hmm.
Can I kind of swoop sort of along the wall area and kind of see if there's any movement on the other side of the wall past the gate that I can tell?
Not that you can tell. You may recall from earlier that there are various wards set up to prevent people from trying to go in while there's a quarantine. Except for some reason, this one person.
Perhaps if we, well, I can't respond, but Lish will kind of head back down towards street level. See if he can't perch and see Demir somewhere.
I will say that since Demir had sent you the message, you know where she is.
Demir will like kind of step a little out of the shadows and like raise her arm for him to land on.
Come in.
Give him little stitches on his owl head. And
Nice snowy owl.
kind of looking over like, I wonder if they're feeding information to someone or visiting someone in another sector of the city. The guards didn't stop them, so presumably they're recognized or allowed in and out.
Bribery's also a thing.
What could be so important that they are letting someone breach quarantine? Even if it's not a real quarantine.
Who knows? Could always be they're trying to solve whatever the Mystra issue is as well. I don't know if that was a individual or just a priest of Ogma, but maybe if we got some of her symbols, that could afford us entry.
They didn't appear to be able to see their face, just their symbol.
They were wearing a cloak, hid their face, and prominently displaying the symbol of Ogma. So, yeah.
Could be something.
We need to get in.
doing?
I thought that was our goal. To investigate whatever's happening with Mystra.
Thought we were looking for a dragon.
Also that. Should have tried to stop him. I just thought I could find wherever he was going.
I could wait and see if he comes out.
Yes. So you want to wait here for a bit?
I could. You don't have to.
I would hate to leave you out there all alone.
I would hate to be left all alone.
Let's wait here for a bit then. Find a hidden place and set up for a bit. If he's not out in a few hours, I suppose we can give up. But or try and get here very, very early in the morning.
I have a feeling that this person wants to be under the cover of night. What time is it, DM? Like, how late is it? Like,
You guys were just getting ready for bed, so I'd say probably around 9 or 10 o'clock.
Okay. So we'll post up and in a little corner somewhere and see what we can spy on for the next couple hours, I suppose.
Okay. Roll a perception check.
And I want to kind of pay attention to the guards. Are they just stationed around the wall, or do they have like a rotation? Is there a shift? Like, what is the deal with the guards? I want to see if I can find how they're working.
So, okay. How long do you guys intend on staying there?
I mean, I can stay there for many hours as an owl, so until we see something interesting or until dawn starts breaking, I suppose. I got a 22 for my perception.
Okay. So I will note that if you guys are foregoing a rest in order to do this, you will have a level of exhaustion. I will get to you, Valk. I see you.
Can I don't think Demir can wait there the whole time, but can I at least take a short rest while we're sitting there for a few hours?
You can take a short rest if you so choose. So you guys find a settled place to settle in, and start keeping an eye on the guards, watching to make sure that this mysterious person, does not reappear. While you guys are waiting, Tobias goes to the other rooms at the inn to wake everyone else up, saying that Lish didn't explain much, but that Lish and Demir ran after someone.
Well, we should probably go after them.
Should we? Well,
think they're doing my thing, but they're not back. They're not back.
I mean, Demir is following someone here in the dead of night. It probably has to do with that locked up western sector, right?
Well, who knows with Demir, but since it is Demir, I'm inclined to follow.
Lish went with her. Don't you think that's enough? And if they are tailing somebody, would we not set off the fact that they're being tailed?
Aaron.
Yeah.
Do you think your grandfather would be willing to help in this situation?
Ooh. I mean, I can check. If you think it's around the quarantine sector, I can check at the but I mean, if they're not there, I can't keep looking around.
It's location based, not person based.
It's location based. Yeah. Hawk has a theory. I can check Hawk's theory.
Well, I could just sending them to get a location so we can know where to send Grandpapa.
That's an idea. Yeah, go for it, I suppose.
Okay. Remind me of the specifics of this ability.
For me, it was Lars doing ascending first.
Well, I have to do the sending first, so
Okay.
Aaron can do the location, but then you'll probably need to know Aaron's abilities. Anyway, so I'm going to send Lesh. Is everything all right? Do you need backup? What is your location?
Can I talk in a message when I'm wild shaped in common?
No, you can only talk to Demir because she has her.
Yeah. You hear back in response.
I think noise suppression might have eaten up your sound, Avery. Oh well.
Ho 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 ho.
Demir's found Santa. We need to get there immediately.
She's after that old man.
That's who it was.
Lish is an owl. If I recognize my bird sounds.
Does that
Oh,
did it sound like panicked owl sounds or casual owl sounds?
well,
Could
no,
you read a
pretty
tone?
good question.
Definitely sounded like sassy birds.
Well, since we didn't get a straight answer and I can't divine anything from Lish's tone, I'm inclined to try to follow them.
Okay, well, there is one other thing we try. If you give me 4 minutes, I can divine her location, assuming that she's still close enough.
Well, I gotta don my armor anyway.
Yeah,
I mean, again, do you really think it's a good idea to go and follow them if they're tailing somebody in full plate?
I can fly and I have invisibility. Do I have invisibility? I don't have an invisibility, but I can fly.
I could wild shape. Enough.
I can wild shape as an owl to go meet him if you guys point me in the direction.
Oh, that might be a good idea.
You
And
could do that
he's
too?
currently an owl, so you should
Right.
be able to talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me see if you give me a little while, let me see if I can at least figure out where they've come.
Where to send you, yeah.
All right.
All right, I think
So-
that's a workable plan. Should be less disruptive than all of us going as people or
4
thereabouts.
minutes plus casting time.
Casting time is 1 action, so 6 seconds.
So 4 minutes on
4 minutes to
Hawk locating, and then Aaron can send the grandfather to get confirmation on location and what's going on there, and that can determine how fast we need to move from there.
I wonder if I thought it had wild shape. I don't see it anymore.
I mean, if your class,
I mean, you would have wild shape being a druid.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't think there's any subclasses or anything that take it away. So
Wild
I see it.
shape
I
is in
found it.
your actions section.
all right. So Hawk spends 4 minutes in meditation to reprepare locate creature at the expense of I'm just gonna say like remove curse. And he's gonna cast that. Is Demir within 1,000 feet?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So since I know the direction to Demir's location, so I'm just gonna point it out. Is she moving?
I'd say at this point, no.
So she's in that direction. She's not moving, so she stopped somewhere. And she's not in a different form, so it does work, etc. All right. That direction, not moving.
I'm owling it up. You see me turn into a little snowy owl.
All right. Do you all go to follow Hawk's lead?
I think just
I mean, I never said that I was gonna leave the building is the thing.
yeah.
I'd follow his lead. Well,
Hawk has decided that he wants to stay and sleep and not want to engage with them.
Well, I mean, he just doesn't want to F up Demir's stealth mission.
Well, the thing is,
He's confident that he will.
us unstealthy ones can follow at a distance, but still be close enough to assist if need be. Is kind of where Valk's head is at.
We still don't know the situation, though. It is wiser to be ready to assist in case that assistance is needed, but at the same time, the previous affirmation that it's very possible that we could bungle up the stealth.
Well,
What is
in the
Hawk's stealth, actually? It might still be decent. Yeah,
let's
it's okay.
see.
He's not in heavy armor, so he doesn't have that penalty.
Doesn't donning armor time is cut in half if you have someone assisting you?
Good question.
Because I know that's the rule in Pathfinder.
Might be. Hang on.
It would depend on the check being made, I think.
It's armor information.
It doesn't say anything about having assistance. Oh, it says it for doffing. It doesn't say it for donning.
Here we go. Oh, yes.
I mean, I feel like it would make sense to, if you have assistants, it would have the time.
Okay, so if someone
Like,
helps,
logically.
yeah. So if someone's helping Valk get into her plate, she'd be armored up by the time Hawk has changed and prepped his spell and casted it.
All right. So, folks are dressed. People are casting spells. Erin, were you still gonna send Grandpapa to do some investigation?
Yeah, I think so. And that's it's me casting clairvoyance, but where it's all instead. So that's
Mhm.
a mile and it lasts 10 minutes, and you know it's invisible and stuff.
Okay. Invisibility is the word I was looking for. All right. What do you send Arld looking for?
Well, we confirmed their location, right? Via Arc. So I mean, just send him to stand there and just look around. I don't think he can move once he gets to a place. So just like, well, stand outside and just check on the situation. Try to see if I can find any errant owls or if Demir is visible.
Roll a perception check.
Alrighty. Ooh, that is not especially good. Can I do anything to buff that? Would trying to look for, well, no, I don't think that would work because it's not my senses, it's our old senses. Okay. Then that's going to be a 13.
You don't see Lish or Demir through Arld's eyes, but you can see the guards out front by the gate. Let me just double check something. Demir, you see a vaguely humanoid shape glowing with divination magic appear in the middle of the courtyard.
Do I recognize it as Arld?
No, you can't tell. You can only see, like, there's this condensed divination magic and more or less in the shape of a person.
Demir is going to sit up and to Lish, just like, do you see that guy over there?
Can I see that guy over there?
Do you have detect magic up?
I am an owl.
No.
Not even with his owl senses?
Owls can't sense magic usually, I don't think. So, no.
Tell me, Lish, what do your owl eyes see? I don't see
Jack shit.
I like that Aaron uses the ultra clairvoyance only ever to freak out Demir and for nothing else.
Honestly,
Gotta do what he's gotta do.
Erin using the feature just to go, ooh, this ghost, ooh.
Lish will just be like, no.
The man in the square, he's radiating magic, divination. You can't see him.
Doesn't look like there's a man to me.
He must be invisible. Should we go investigate?
Lish just kind of gives the bird shrug. See what it does first.
Just stands there for a little bit and then disappears.
Ah, shit, he's gone.
Aaron, that's what you saw? No one apparently noticed you because no one came up to bother you while you were looking through Arl's eyes.
Terrible shame that. Yeah. He'll just his eyes when he has Arled out, his eyes, contrary to their normal, just go completely dark. And there's just nothing there. And so his eyes light back up. And he says, well, if they're doing a stealth mission there, they avoided me too. And if they're not, I have no idea where they are.
Well, my vote is we take some back alleys until we get in range of messaging and we can get confirmation on what's going on, since I don't want to use an extra third level if I don't have to.
Ooh.
That's probably wise, especially if they are in trouble.
Thank you, Anne.
Ooh.
Guys, we need to be really careful. Someone in this room is an owl.
So who all comes in the back alley mission?
I raise my wing.
Okay, so we have an
Oh,
owl,
good.
a me, a barbarian, and Hawk. Are you coming along?
I mean, you're probably going to need someone to keep you on track, so yes. Like, navigation-wise.
Fair.
We might want to consider
I have full
leaving,
concentration on a spell for like an hour, so might as well.
we might want to consider leaving Toby behind in case they come back. They'll have someone here to tell them where we are.
That's a good point. You'll be
Says
safe.
to message him once we figured out what's going on, and that he will hold on the fort. Make sure no one goes into the rooms.
Awesome.
Okay,
Right.
so now that we've left NPC Toby, do we need to roll anything since we're specifically doing back
I need you
alleys
all
and
to roll stealth if you're trying to be quiet.
I have advantage because I'm an owl.
It doesn't work that way, I'm afraid.
Oh. Ooh. Natty 20.
So many
Excellent.
natural owl noises coming out of this.
So
Didn't do
Septimus,
test rolls,
this
see
just
if,
snowy white owl, just flies out and just vanishes.
Ooh.
Oh, I hope she knows where she's going.
I
haven't
would
done
have
test
checked
rolls
in
today,
with
let's see if
you.
That's fair. Let's hope I haven't done test rolls, so let's hope that the energy dice don't hate my guts today. They
I
hate my
got
guts today.
if I were to use magical flying, do I no longer have disadvantage on stealth since I'm not literally
Clank,
moving my
clank, clank,
clankers?
No, because presumably you're moving your wings.
No, Steps of Night magical flight.
So you're in. Does that work in dark rather than dim light?
Dim or dark.
Okay. I would say you still have to roll with this disadvantage because it's more about moving your body and making the.
It's not necessarily the clunk of
Yeah.
metal
not
against
necessarily
ground. It's
just-
all the
yeah, it is-
rustling of that heavy
Yeah,
armor.
you are in armor.
Okay, fair. Then I won't use the spell since penalties anyway.
Anyway, I got a total
Yahoo.
6, so
I got a 7.
hey, you did better than me.
I got a 17.
Wow, fancy.
Hawk, what did you get?
6.
Cool. So, Aaron, you are stealthing along. You're feeling pretty good about it. You're moving very quietly. You can see the silent form of Septimus as an owl kind of fluttering over you, looking very much like an owl searching for prey. And then behind you, you hear of the two paladins.
Can I just go a different direction? Just
Sure.
ditch them. I'm gonna cast I'm gonna message I guess Hawk, and just say oh God, what would Aaron say? Here, I'm gonna see
Hey,
if
I
I can
think
get
you were
any
right.
good results on my own. And then Aaron's just gonna disappear down an alleyway, never to be seen again.
Well, I hope he remembers which direction they are.
All right.
So the two of us are just clanking to be nearby in case of emergencies.
Lars and Max, you are both being observed by guards that are out and about at this hour, and the odd drunken person stumbling home after an evening at the tavern. Just seeing these clunky people kind of going about their business. How are you guys walking? Are you walking with purpose, or do you look like you're like Skyrim crouching and stumbling across the street?
I feel like the moment Hawk realized he was making noise, he swapped over from the Bethesda sneak to casual striding.
Yeah, same.
All right.
We're just, casual walking.
He-
We know what we're doing. We have a purpose. Valk nods at guards when they look at her. We're just like, what the fuck? Of course, as we're walking, we're also randomly 10 feet faster than we're supposed to be.
All right.
Since, me and Hawk are doing the fucking Wizard of Oz walk. Say that 5 times fast.
I like Wizard of Waz-Ook better.
All right, so you guys are clunking your way more or less in the direction of Demir. Aaron, roll investigation or perception check.
Alrighty. I'm going to boost that up with one of my superiority dice. So that'll be a okay, I will take that. And I believe my superiority dice are d6s these days. That'll be a 30 even.
Oh my god. Okay. So you arrive in just on the outside of the little courtyard, and you do a quick scan, and based off of where Hawk told you that his locate person spell was pinging versus where Arnold was standing versus where the guards are standing, you are able to perfectly pinpoint where Demir is kind of hanging out in an alley with an owl that isn't Septimus. Just kind of keeping an eye on the guards.
Aaron will shoot a message Demir's way. And say, hey Demir, just came to check if you're still okay out here. Sent Arnold earlier.
Oh, that was Arnold.
Aaron's is just kind of embarrassed blushes from where he's standing. But no.
I'll just keep sending message. So I saw him appear and then disappear and was trying to figure out what was going on. I found a priest, I think, of Ogma who went into the section of the city that's closed off. The guards just seemed to let them in. We were waiting here to see if they came out. We're in the alley over here if you want to come join us.
Aaron will sneak around from his alley over to Demir's alley, I suppose.
Septimus, you
Yep.
can roll perception or investigation to try to spot the other.
Great. That is at least over 20.
Cool. You're able to swoop down to join them in the alley too, if you like.
Awesome. And that's what I do.
All right. So after a few minutes of hanging out in the alley, you guys can all hear some nice clunking as Balk and Hawk enter the alleyway. The guards look in their direction immediately.
Aaron, you should probably stop us.
Yeah, it wasn't Bob's
Aaron's
plan to get close to the
Yeah, no.
sneaky
Aaron's
people.
been keeping an eye out to discourage them from coming over here if they show up.
And
Does
Demir send them a message when she sees or hears clunk, clunk, clunk.
Sure.
Cool. She'll message Hawk and just be like, we're in the alley, there's no emergency. We're just keeping an eye out. Please don't blow our cover.
Hawk sort of just like asides to Hawk's like, okay, so we're nearby. We probably shouldn't reveal their location.
fair enough. Do we have any more information on the individual we were tracking?
I mean, she didn't say. It was just a message, I think. So
You can respond to my message.
in that case, understood. Keeping our distance. What are we looking for?
There was a priest of Ogma. I followed him all the way to the wall, and the guards just let him magically disappear inside.
Interesting. We'll keep an eye out from a distance, I think. Let us know when you're ready to go back.
Will do. And Demir will turn to Aaron and Septimus and just... It's potentially a way into the city if we're able to, or into the section of the city if we're able to mimic a priest of Ogma if they're granted.
What
out.
What is Ogma? What are Ogma's priests like?
They're the goddess of knowledge, I think.
Lara's face lights up as soon as a religious question comes up.
Well, No, Ogma's a very large part of Mystra's holy scriptures.
Oh,
So if Hawk passes along that it was a priest of Ogma,
he
Valk
does
will have
relay
things to
Demir's
say.
information, yeah. So like he does say looks like a she saw the priest of Ogma freely enter the sector, and she's waiting to see what else happens.
We'll also note that you have yet to see a shrine to Ogma elsewhere in the city.
Well, Ogma will obviously be in the Mystra quarter, since Ogma was raised to godhood by Mystra. I might be able to get entrance then.
Really?
Yeah, I outrank the fucker. Well, my god outranks his god.
Interesting.
She says it better than that. I don't have better words this morning.
It was just like, well, yeah, I have a higher station than he does. Something like that.
We're all about station.
Says the princess, turned queen.
So they let a priest of the Mystra sector in at night. How the fuck do I find out if that'll work for me as well?
Suppose we could always find a different priest and ask if we state the near truth and say that we're budding acolytes of Mystra, or maybe even her chosen, or something like that. Of course, delivering proof of that will be another problem altogether.
Well, as far as we know, all the guards knew is it was a priest of Ogma and they were let in.
I mean, he probably also lives here, so they might already have an arrangement.
Fair.
Yes, but the real question is if they're accepting pilgrims as well as residents. Yeah, good point. Showing off a holy symbol would be pretty good proof.
Yeah. Able to cast spells in Mystra's name, yada, yada, yada.
Well, if it's worth a shot, the worst they'll probably do is turn you away. I'll stay back here, though.
Yeah. Inform the others if I get detained.
I will try.
At which point, Valk's just like, fuck it, we ball.
Okay.
Are we just watching Valkyria walk right up to the guards?
Yeah, I suppose so. So you watch Valkyria clunk her way up to the guards.
Aaron whispers to Demir, "They tell you anything about this?"
No. This will be interesting.
Alrighty.
Demir just like, oh, I would love to see Valk get arrested.
Yeah, let's just watch.
Okay.
He did, we can step in. It's fine.
2 owls, 1 stone.
I'm just laughing at the idea of Valk just gets let into the other side of the city and the rest of the party's just like, okay. Confidence, obviously. But to be nice or to be demanding? I take it these are different guards than were posted earlier in the day. Hey kids, want to buy some drugs? No. So Valk, pops her holy symbol out of her tunic and is kind of rolling in her hand as she walks up, obviously in thought. And I guess she walks up to what appears to be the most alert individual.
They
And
all seem fairly alert, and they are observing you closely as you approach. Nope.
Having the level of voice be able to be easily heard by the guards, but not like project into the rest of the city. She goes, "Good evening, guardsmen."
One of them kind of gives you a short nod and says that most of the rest of them are just observing you, but one of them says, "Good evening."
It is my understanding that the various priesthoods of what's the official name for the Mystra Quarter?
Mythglade.
The various priests of the Mythglade can come to an arrangement to enter the city as a priest, or that section of the city, and as a priest of Mystra who has come to meet the head of church here. How would I enter?
Sorry, ma'am. I'm sure you've come a long way as pilgrim to visit the city, but this part of the city is closed to the public for safety.
What exactly is going on that you need to quarantine in a city full of potential healers?
Roll a persuasion check.
I can do that. I can't do that. I would like to use my thing where I can roll an extra time once a day.
Okay.
Can I use this for it? Hold on. My dice have betrayed me, but what's new? Sorcerer's Origin, Divine Soul, favored by the god. Okay, so it's only for that. My luck thing, do I take the higher roll or am I just get the second roll?
You take the higher roll.
Okay. Most I can do is a 14 then.
The guard kind of shakes his head and says, "Sorry, ma'am, but I'm not at liberty to say."
This may or may not be a good idea, but you could potentially ask who is.
Yeah. Understandable that you have instructions to not spread fear to the public, which, is the right thing to do. Don't want people panicking. However, I am in a unique position to be of additional help since I have been in contact or recent contact with Mystra, which I don't know if has been difficult as of late. And if the quarantine most likely isn't sickness in nature, with the events of the world, I'm gonna assume things are disappearing and you're not sure how to isolate that. Obviously, you can't say outright if this is the case. But, a little yes or no if I'm on the right track would be appreciated.
Persuasion check.
Come on, don't roll like ass this time. Didn't roll like ass this time, 24.
He kind of pauses and looks you over, considering for a second, and then shakes his head.
Yes or no? No.
I will tell you, but you would need special permission from either the High Harvest Master, the Oracle of Eternity, Keeper of Balance, or Priestess Karabursk.
Well, that is very helpful information. I greatly appreciate that. Hopefully, we'll be able to address what is causing the quarantine. Thank you for your aid, at which point Val kind of does a religious gestural and kind of walks back towards Hawk.
Well, you were able to come back, so I assume it went well.
Well, I figured out how to get entrance.
Well. That'll come in handy. We could probably tell the others once we're closer together.
Well, at least Valkyria didn't get arrested.
Yet.
There's still plenty of time in the night and tomorrow.
Val kind of looks up, thinking briefly, and sends a sending to Demir. Or no, Aaron, because wait, Dove's not here. To Demir, like, That went well. While I wasn't able to gain entrance now, I know how to get permission for entrance now.
That is fantastic news. Maybe we should meet back up at the inn. I don't know if the figure I saw is going to reappear tonight.
Valk isn't going to use another spell to answer because magic. So Valk kind of does a more grand, just like wave to the guards, a bow, and kind of gestures for Hawk to follow her back to the inn.
Off we go.
You know, to make it obvious to the people what's going on.
Just like,
Demir will-
okay, we're done. We're leaving.
Demir will turn to Septimus, Aaron, and Lish, and just Valkyria said that she was able to find out how we can get entrance into the city section. I don't know if we'll see the priest again tonight, so maybe we should head back to the inn. Get a night's rest. Unless, Vervain, you want to stay here.
I can keep an eye out for a time longer.
Okay. Yeah, we should head back and confer with Valkyria, and if you stay relatively close, I should be able to message you. And she's going
Okay.
to give Vervain another little chin scritch under his beak, and give him a forehead kiss and a bardic inspiration. Just in case.
How
And
I've been rolling, I might need.
she'll offer her other arm for Septimus to land on, and head back towards the inn.
Yeah.
Looking very much like I was just out with my familiar.
I follow suit.
All right. Guys, make your way back to the inn. Do you all go to bed or actually take a moment to talk to each other?
Either way,
I'm gonna
Valk.
be questioning Demir.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, what I was going to say is, even if we don't talk as a group, Valk has an idea, and I would like to get some clarification from the DM. But Valk would only do this if we're after we're talking, or if we're not talking. So,
Demir plans to. She's going to head towards like when we get back into the inn. She's going to make her way to Aaron, Hawk, and Valkyria's room.
Find
And-
Toby in there, who sits up as soon as you enter and starts asking for more detail on what's going on.
Hello, darling. It was a bust. But she'll fill him in on I saw a figure cloaked wearing a prominent symbol of Agama. It seemed like a priest. He walked up to the wall and magically teleported inside without the guards' harassment or questioning. So then, Valkyria, you spoke to the guard.
Would actually Demir beat Valk and Hawk back?
Probably not, unless you guys are taking the slow way.
whatever. So we kind of arrive at the same time. Then, yes, I after hearing that, well, Ogma was originally a disciple of Mystra before being uplifted. I figured it was worth giving a shot since I am a representative of Mystra to see if I can't flash my badge and get in, as it were. Unfortunately, that didn't work, but I was able to get the guards to tell me how to get permission to go in. And DM, I'm assuming as the player, but I also would assume that Valk would know this more definitively based off of the titles you gave, that it's kind of the individual leaders of each quarter.
Yes, except Priestess Kara Bursk does not have the same weight as the others.
Well, Valk wouldn't even know who Priestess What's Her Butt is, but because of the other titles, she just kind of neuron fires. Wisdom score is not awful. It's like, also she works with the Church of Tyr and Torm, so recognize those titles firsthand. And it's just like,
You recognize the title of the Keeper of Balance. Less familiar with High Harvest Master and Oracle of Eternity, but you can
read between the lines.
Mm-hmm.
The religious leaders of the individual sectors can grant permission for entrance to the section of Mystra, and a priestess that I didn't recognize the name of. I'd be good. Apple.
That's very good. Thank you, Volcania. We can, that's a lead. We can follow it. And at the very least, we know that the city guard are allowing priests of Ogma inside and presumably out. So, worst comes to worst, we can try and get some police involved. Just hide our faces.
I have a little bit of an in with the priesthood of Tyr.
Unfortunately, we can't shapeshift. Or disguise them. I guess we could disguise ourselves.
Well, you and Vervain at least can shapeshift. And I can cast polymorph, and so can Vervain. So at least 4 of us could be disguised as animals.
I am I am not overly concerned about getting permission from the Keeper of the Balance. That was the title, right?
Keeper of Balance.
Keeper of Balance.
Well, you were planning on going there in the morning, weren't you?
Indeed, I was.
Perhaps we should go as a group, make our case, as it were.
For that, we wait till the morning, regroup, and head out.
The church will be closed now, so if we want to gain a not entrance, not meeting, but fancier term for meeting. Audience. With the Keeper of Balance, the morning is our best bet.
There we go.
Sounds like a plan. We should all get to sleep then. And wake us before you go, Valkyria. And Demir will let Septimus hop off her shoulder, her arm, and take Toby and head back to her room. Their
Alright.
room. And she's going to try and send a message to Lish if he's in range.
Not within range, I'm afraid. You'd need
Then
to
she'll take out her scry orb and send him a scry.
Alright. Lish, are you still owling it up?
Yeah, I think he's probably found some like little rafters with the view of the entrance to the gated part of the city, and was fluffed up and chilling.
All right. Well, Valkyria is fairly confident she can have an audience with the leader of the Church of Tyr, who apparently can grant us entrance or permission to go inside. She has a list of leaders that could do that for us. And in the morning, we're going to go try and seek an audience. You can fully respond. We're chatting right now for the next 10 minutes.
Some little chit chat.
Yeah, Demir's just gonna well, at least we know a few things. That the gods don't have a way of detecting invisibility. That they have some degree of recognition for priests within the temple. And that there are tools within the city that are able to grant access. So, rather fruitful night.
Yes. The streets out here are quiet.
Just should have said something to him, I thought.
So always try and see if they come by again tomorrow night as well.
The city leaders might be able to help us on our primary interest, looking for a dragon.
Well,
Suppose it's the best we can do for now. Make sure you come back before dawn. Stay safe.
probably head back a little bit earlier than that,
All right.
unless something happens.
Tobias and I are probably going to sleep. So stay safe. I'll see you tomorrow morning. I love you.
See you soon.
I shall end the sky and go to bed.
All right. So the night passes uneventfully, and you all come to consciousness in the morning. Lish, I assume you were true to your word and returned eventually.
I abandon the party and I start my own owl gang.
I'm
And
good.
I actually had one more thing before sleeping.
Mhm.
Haven't quite decided on the phrasing, but I'm going to attempt to send my dad again. Not stepdad. Bio dad.
Okay.
Father. Father, I am speaking to the balance keeper of balance in what the fuck is our current city again, guys?
Alperen.
Alperen, thank you. It is important to our quest of restoring Mystra. Your aid would be loved. Okay, there's 25 words.
Okay. Well, he's on a different plane, so I'm required by law to do the percentage thing. Yeah, you're fine.
You could just roll a d20 and on a 1 since it's 5%.
Oh, I know. I rolled 26, by the way. But anyway, you hear the voice. And voice is a loose term, I think, as it applies to your father. But you hear the response. Speak, and she will hear you.
A nice, cryptic, but helpful message.
As is the way for your father.
Yeah, but you know, if you have a very important meeting and you can use a little nepotism to your advantage to save the world, why not?
Nepo baby Falk.
Yeah.
Nepo
Anyway.
baby Falk.
I need 30 seconds. I'll be right back.
All right. So now you all wake up and come to consciousness. Is there anything anyone would like to accomplish in the morning before you all go on your way?
Nope.
Septimus, do you take your time to do your makeup this morning?
Oh yes, I would have gotten up a little early to do that.
I will note that since you're staying in the totally not haunted inn, when you guys wake up, some of the things seem to be moved around a little bit, as are some of the things that were in the room already, but not like taken. It's just like, I swear that flower was on the dresser last night, and now it's on the nightstand, and I don't remember taking out my extra blanket, but here it is on the floor. It's fine.
I mean, I'm used to antics in the Feywild, so I guess I would detect magic to it. What is detect magic? Or is that different? I can't do that in this, can I? Ah, never mind.
All right. any conversations that would like to be had before you depart?
Is Lish back by the time we wake up?
Are you back, Lish?
Yeah, I think he makes his way back after like a couple 2-3 hours when it's just clear that nothing's really happening, probably before sunrise.
I mean, while keeping an eye out, at one point, someone very briefly appears outside of the gate, speaks to the guards, and then disappears.
Does it look like a person with a cloak?
I mean, most people are wearing cloaks. You're in the far north. It's cold.
They just appear and then disappear.
Yep.
Can I tell kind of what spell was used?
Roll an Arcana check.
19.
Looks to you like Misty Step.
Interesting. Yeah, he'll watch for a little bit longer and then make his way back.
All right.
I think as soon as Lish is back, I would ask him if he, or maybe I'll wait till the morning. Assuming it's morning, I'd approach you Lish, and I'd ask you, did you notice if there was a turning, if the guards had any sort of schedule that they maybe, just in case, things go south today?
They seem to
Did
have
I notice
a
anything?
healthy guard rotation. They give them breaks. They give them like time off. If this isn't like a society where people are forced to work day in and day out for the sake of survival, this is a society where these people have very healthy job security.
Good labor laws.
Woo!
Labor unions, labor laws.
They have an entire quarter of, or 2 quarters of hardworking, labor-based gods that are lawful and good. So
These aren't cops. They are here to actually help the people.
So they're firemen but armed.
Yeah.
Lish will tell you that. They have a schedule.
They're firemen but armed, Valkyria.
I mean, I don't know if Lish necessarily knows or cares about that facet of it.
Oh no,
but...
I'm totally just joking around, so.
Like, they seem to be changed out of regular intervals.
All right. Well, are we ready to head out then?
I can't really hear you, Anne. Can you say that again?
Oh, I'd say, are we ready to head out then?
I think
I
so.
don't know.
Sorry.
Lish says, I don't know. He looks to Demir.
I think so. Is everyone gathered around?
Sup?
All right. Let's assume you all are ready to go. You start heading back down south towards the Righteous Walk. And you begin to make your way towards a building called the Chapel of Justice. I had described it very briefly before, but I shall do so again because time has passed. It is a gleaming castle-like building built from stone, iron, and wood, and it's imposing but kind of beautiful at the same time. It is big and grand enough that it looks like it could potentially accommodate giants if necessary. The front double doors are heavy and reinforced, and the rooftop vantages 30 feet from the ground allow inhabitants to defend against attackers, protected by chest-high parapets circling the outside walls. You guys head in.
Before we step into the temple proper, you can see Val kind of, and she pulls the habit down off of her head, and you can see her wings are pretty much all the way grown back in, still a touch rough around the edges, but the gray opalescence is in full force as she steps in.
Okay. So, inside the main hall, there are high ceilings that are large enough that they could potentially house a dragon. It is somewhat mildly decorated, though there's a repeating balance scales motif that kind of subtly decorates the stone walls. You can tell just from the size of it and your own prior knowledge of what temples here look like. But there are probably many rooms for daily routines and worship, as well as you imagine a well-stocked armory with various chainmail suits, shields, and weapons to arm, judging again by the size of the building, to arm over a dozen combatants. In this main hall, you can see several people kind of milling about. There's one man that's going about kind of just refilling jugs of water. You can see a woman kneeling in front of one of the scale motifs on the wall with a sword in front of her. You can see a couple of people in what seems to be like a makeshift fighting ring in one corner, just practicing, with a few people along the edge watching it. Inside the ring, there is a young human woman fighting against a dwarf woman, and you can see another person off to the side that seems to be in the process of blessing a child, like a newborn babe.
As one does.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Valk's disposition is a little different than you've seen her before. She kind of feels more upright and kind of obviously you have no clue how she looks through her wings, but you can very much get the sense that she's kind of looking down her nose as being hot. It's all for show, folks. Valk surveys the temple and who appears to be the ranking priest on the floor.
Roll a perception check.
Perception or religious?
I mean, you're looking for a person rather than to necessarily draw on religious lore.
Fair enough. Well, doesn't matter either way. I got 19.
19. You see that the person blessing the baby off to the side. Seems to be pretty high ranking. There's maybe a couple people watching the fight that have a similar rank and stature as this guy.
Before Valkyria approaches anyone, Demir is going to reach up and like just kind of help smooth some of the like stray feathers off her face and give her a little boost of bardic inspiration. You've got this. Do you need any help?
You can see Volk's shoulders relax a little bit. I can deal with church bureaucracy, but having you all here helps.
Just let us know. We'll follow your lead.
At which point Valk walks over towards the baby blessing ritual, but stands a respectful distance away from the family.
All right. You can see this is a lovely lesbian couple. They both look tough as nails. One of them is actually wearing the uniform of a guard in this area. The little baby is wrapped in a green blanket as he is blessed by the priest. And when the ritual is done, both of the mothers thank the priest profusely, and they each kiss their baby and start to make their way towards the door.
Valk was probably reciting along with the prayers as kind of just a habit thing. And once the mothers leave, Valk steps forward and would I recognize the priest's rank by his attire?
Let me see.
Lawkeeper?
But I'd have to look up the actual name that I have. Give me a second here. Don't you hate when you're like trying to click something and then it starts opening an ad right as you click it and it's like, oh, you wanted this ad.
Oh, you want to click the ad.
Anyway.
Dungeon for 1,000 years.
So this guy would be what you would refer to as a high avenger.
Okay, so when Valk steps forwards, excuse me, High Avenger, a moment of your time.
Of course, what can I do for you?
Me and my party are on a holy quest, and part of our what's the word she would use? Not itinerary. And we have need of having an audience with the Keeper of Balance.
Very well.
You may introduce us as the Wild Roses. And I am Valkyria Grace, the Lightbringer of map names. Wrong
Valkyria
map.
Grace, the Lightbringer of fuck.
Yes, the Lightbringer of fuck. City descriptions. I can cheat. No. Lightbringer of Aira. Scion of Ophanim, whatever my father's technical name is.
Very well. I shall inform her of your presence. And he kind of bows his head towards you and beelines for the little makeshift fighting ring. Do you follow?
Yeah, sure. And Val kind of gestures for the rest of the party to follow as well.
So you can see that he kind of gently moves his way through the gathered people. And it's at this point that the fight seems to be wrapping up. As it does, though, one of the people fighting is kind of stumbles out of the ring with, you can tell, a very obvious concussion.
No.
And you can see that the High Avenger gestures the dwarf woman over and speaks to her.
The person with the concussion, did they stumble our way?
Nope. They're kind of just helped aside by some of the other priests there. And you looking at this person, you can tell that they're kind of younger. This seems to have been a lesson of some sort, as the dwarf woman hops out of the ring and just starts strutting over towards you guys after the High Avenger points you out.
Just if they had stumbled Valk's direction, she probably would have done lesser restoration for the concussion.
So you can see that this dwarf woman, now that she's a little closer, she has a shaved head with a little stubble growing in, a nose that looks like it's been broken many, many times, and she has like a healthy curly brown beard. She's a very handsome woman with bright green eyes, and she approaches you guys and is very clearly sizing you all up.
Well, Valk still, perfect poise.
What are the rest of you guys doing? Are you being a bunch of bumblefucks while you're meeting like the tier pope, or are you following Valk's lead?
Taupe, if you will, but you probably won't.
I'm just over here crumping in the corner.
You're just like, ow, crumpet, you sweetie pie.
Lish is over there teabagging the like concussed victim, just like
T-posing and dabbing while repeatedly crouching.
Demir is standing besides but behind Valkyria. She's letting Valkyria take the lead, but she's doing her best, like, I am somewhat of importance, like standing there looking as like upright as she can, basically.
Yeah.
So Valk's basically standing as a icon of a cult. Demir is entering princess mode. Lish is being the,
He's being a toxic Halo player.
I'm looking for cats. Are there any cats?
There are no cats.
Oh.
no
What is that?
tabaxi.
What is Lish actually doing though? Because like
I think we
jokes
were pretty
aside.
clear.
Yeah, I mean, I described it in detail. I don't know what more you want from me.
Is there anything evil or out of the norm that we could detect at all?
A whole perception check.
Okay. 12.
Nothing that you can tell. It all seems pretty on the up and up.
Okay.
Okay, are we done being weird and I have to role play now, or do we want to talk about teabagging more?
We can teabag later. Let's talk about roleplay.
Okay. DM, what was the Keeper of Balance's actual name again?
She has not introduced herself yet.
Wasn't the name given by the guard? Okay.
He listed the different
Just the positions. Okay.
High Harvest Master, Oracle of Eternity, Keeper of Balance, and then the only one he listed the name for was apparently a lowly priest of somewhere.
Thank you. I just stored the information in my brain labeled with no contents. Okay. Keeper of Balance, thank you for making time in your morning. I am Valkyria Grace, Sire of the Ophanim. Holy Words. I need an actual name for him at some point, but I'm not doing it mid role play. Lightbringer of blah 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 blah, listing too many titles because sometimes you have to pretend to be important to get somewhere. We are the Wild Roses.
I was told that you requested my presence. It's in the middle of a lesson, but I suppose I could make some time.
It is much.
To Alperen, all of you.
Yes. We, for various reasons, have been entangled in the disappearance of Mystra. And while attempting to gain aid in those endeavors, have made our way to your beautiful city, but we require entrance to the Mythglade to continue our endeavors to bring her back to prominence. Sure, close enough.
He kind of strokes her beard thoughtfully and looks intrigued by what you're having to say. I don't think here in the main hall is the best place to have this conversation.
That is fair.
Go towards the back. And you can see that she has a very confident way she holds herself while she walks, despite her short stature. And she just starts walking towards a back area.
How did she react to Valkyria saying that Mystra had disappeared?
Roll an insight check.
Ooh, natural 20.
Natural 20. For a total of?
Total of, hold on.
Stupid high.
28.
28. Okay. Let me give you some whispers.
Ooh. Ooh.
This week's episode brought to you by no one. We have no sponsors.
D&D Beyond, everyone.
They don't get it for free.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. So, she leads you to a room deeper within the temple. This room it's fascinating because it seems to be like a combination of like a practice space and a prayer space. The floor is sandy to cushion blows. There are a few training dummies, all kind of lined up in the space. And then there are lots of candles ringing the walls, creating sort of a gentle, fiery light within the room. And as you guys enter, you can see a couple of apparently acolytes practicing fighting each other with wooden swords. And as soon as the Keeper Balance enters, they look up and like bow their heads respectfully, and she says, "Find some place that does the practice. We need to have a talk." And they both kind of scurry out of the room. She puts her hands on her hips and looks up at you all again with that kind of same appraising look, and says, "All right, so I'd be very interested to know what you all know about this situation."
That's very fair. While we obviously don't know what's going on in the sector itself, what is the best way to explain it? Oh, if we only had our chronomancer here.
Well, we know that time is unraveling. The veil is coming undone because the keeper of the veil is currently unavailable. Goddess Mystra is disappearing. Her temples are popping out of existence and out of memory across the continents. And even more than that, we know why. Well, who is responsible. and we are working to stop it. In fact, Valkyria here has been sent by several gods at this point.
More specifically, Mystra sent us back in time in an effort to change her own fate and hopefully free her from whatever binds. So we're not name dropping. Party. That the sorcerer, warlock.
The one
What were their titles? Wizards.
Archmage.
The archmage who has detached her from her powers, her godhood. Yeah, that's how she would explain it.
So are you saying that the goddess Mystra is immortal at the moment? She's detached from her godhood?
We don't know the specific mechanisms by which the archmage has done this, or exactly the effect is, but we know that his binding of Mystra has disrupted the flow of magic and time and the weave. There we go. There's the term.
All right. And she kind of leans back on one of her feet for a second, and strokes her beard and thinks. What do you all know about how our city is run here?
We are new to the city and the continent. We hail from Saya?
Yep.
Saya.
Exactly.
All right. So, generally, the way our city is run is the lead god of each sector has their representative, and we all meet together to discuss what's best for our gods and our city and our citizens. So we can all
quadrunal.
that all interests are represented and all people are safe. However, the High Spellweaver, she has not been available for some time now. As for reasons you may have surmised. We, for the safety of the vast majority of citizens, have sectioned off the part of the city. But if what you're saying is true, it is not solely up to me just to allow people to wander in, despite the fact that they say that they have this information. Y'all seem pretty trustworthy, but as I said, that's not generally how things are run here. It is not solely up to me.
Understandable.
So I can draft a parchment and grant my permission for the city to allow you and your companions into Misglade. However, you would need to get another signature of one of the other leaders. At least. Ideally, all three. But once you have this permission, we can send a message to the representative that has stepped up in the High Spellweaver's absence, and inform her of your arrival within Mythglade.
Surely you could arrange these meetings for us. We are outsiders, so it is rather fortunate that we are even able to meet with you. But we do have means of proving our story.
Roll a persuasion check.
Oh, that's not good for Demir. That is a 17.
He looks at you, considers for a second. I will reach out to either the High Harvest Master or the Oracle for you.
That would be very appreciated.
Which one are you going to choose to meet with?
I think is more favorable to our cause.
Well, party, out of character. Questions. Do we have any other inroads with either of the other priests?
What were the other two main gods of the sectors again?
Wasn't Saloon?
I don't think so.
It is Shanti, the goddess of harvest, a goddess of agriculture, and the other is Kelemvor, the god of the dead.
So probably not.
Star is exactly favorable. That's the only other influence I've got.
Despite class doesn't have any divine connections, so
Lish, would you have any connection to Shanti with being nature related?
No.
Jeez, Bulk. Not all nature related is know each other. Racist.
Naturist.
my
I'm
God, he can't
Lish
sorry.
just kind of Lish looks at you like, I don't know.
We have a representative of a literal season. I figured that would
Did Dove die again?
yeah.
Well, that's just it. A season, not just nature.
Basically, I'm thinking get the inroad from tier guy to the one that we have less inroad with too.
Yeah, we can always make new friends.
I suppose an inroad with Kelemvor would be the most appreciated.
Very well. You all return to the main chamber. I will have one of my men get into contact with the Oracle, and then I will draft the page.
Your aid is much appreciated. Do you have any recommendations for engaging with the leaders of the other two sectors?
She kind of considers for a moment. The Oracle is she's a more quiet type lady, interested in contemplation. We sort of butt heads sometimes because of that.
Makes sense. Tyr is a god of action.
Otherwise, the High Harvestman, kind of considers for a second. He's sort of a man of action, but in a different way than we are. He's like, no offense intended, but you know how some of the elven types tend to try to plan like for such a long time. He wants to do things, but he doesn't do them as fast as I'd like necessarily.
Thinks on a different time scale.
Exactly.
I am familiar.
She kind of shrugs.
If we could trouble you for one more piece of information, disconnected from the situation with Mystra, well, somewhat disconnected. Have you ever heard of a white dragon that breathes fire?
I have.
Is there anything you could tell us? Rumor. I've heard it called a urban legend, but with time,
It's the legend, but it is it's not a false one like many urban legends are. And mind you, girlie, this is way before my time, but many centuries ago, this dragon attacked my home city of Torem. Killed many people, but we were able to fight it off. It promised it would return. Has yet to, but according to the myth, to the legend, it was because a couple of folks started poking around in the Aeonir Mountains, so the dragon came down for revenge. I don't really think about that legend too much, but should you be able to get into Mythglade, I recommend stepping in by the great library that is the Temple to Ogma. Might have a little more information.
The information you've given is amazing. We've been sent to get a tooth from this dragon of all things, to receive aid from.
We are simply seeking the dragon. With
Fair enough.
It is.
Best not to seek her out. She's a dangerous one. And very proud, as you may imagine, willing to come down all the way from her mountain range to our mountain range for revenge.
Good to know. Like I said, with time as it isn't the wisest to assume that even ancient legends won't rear their head lightly. Us ourselves encountered a willow dragon.
Right, she leads you back to the main room. There's two more people fighting in the ring now, but she starts giving orders to some different folks. You can see one of them cast a sending spell to someone. Another one retrieves paper for her and a quill. She writes down her statement, saying, I'm just double checking her name and that I'm saying it correctly. I, Keeper of Balance, Morven Thurk, give my permission for the group known as the Wild Roses to enter Mistblade.
While all this is happening, Valk is probably taking the opportunity to do the praying to Tyr that she intended to do today. So, do I need to roll anything? Or do I still just get the middle finger?
You still just get the middle finger for now. All right. So you guys.
Before we leave, Demir will make sure that they know where we are staying in the city. So if they need to reach us, that is where.
All right.
And of course, that she thanks her for her aid and all that stuff.
So you make your way towards the eastern sector of the city, towards the cathedral that you guys had seen the previous day. It is known as the Gravestone of the Faithful. It's, again, for the sake of description, an enormous cathedral clad in dark stone and has several dozen stained glass windows. The bronze doors that form the cathedral's main entrance are flanked by towers of spires. Do you head in?
Before we, as we are walking, Demir is going to Valkyria. I would appreciate it if you had some discretion regarding at least my particular situation. I do not want to be telegraphing Marhaba's weakness around.
I did not intend to say anything about weakness. I was simply saying it was a requirement to get Marhaba's aid.
I don't believe it will be that. And let us just err on the side of discretion.
It is your family. Fair enough.
Thank you.
The further away you get from the Temple of Tyr, the more relaxed you can see Valk getting.
So, heading into the Gravestone of the Faithful, you can see that the interior is bathed in a soft, dim light that emanates from the aforementioned intricately designed stained glass windows that depicts scenes of peaceful transitions, the cycle of life and death, and the more benevolent aspects of Kellenborg. Subdued lighting contributes to sort of a more contemplative ambiance, allowing visitors to reflect on the inevitability of mortality. The muted color palette evokes a sense of tranquility and acceptance and encourages a connection with the divine. At the far end of the cathedral is a grand altar adorned with symbols of Kellenborg. Candles flicker softly, casting a warm glow, and fragrant incense wafts through the air, creating a sensory experience that is both calming and sacred. Just beyond the altar is an enormous pipe organ, but no one is playing it right now. And when you all step through the doors, you can all kind of sense that this is a very holy space. I mean, you can tell that this building goes deep, and somewhere scratching in the back of your mind, this is also a burial ground.
The ground is very consecrated.
Mm-hmm. Like, if an undead tried to step here, they would just, like, disintegrate immediately.
They want to be able to get within 50 feet.
Yeah. But at this point in the day, there aren't very many people in here. You would suppose that being a god of death, his worship would probably be closer toward dusk or nighttime for the sake of that transition. It is still morning, but there is one woman in here. She is kneeling before the altar. She is a half-elf with hair that's mostly gray, kind of showing her middle age proudly. And the few hairs that aren't gray show that she used to be a sunny blonde. Since she's kneeling, you can see that she has a prosthetic leg. And she is wearing flowing robes of deep blue, dark purple, and somber black. She also wears a simple mantle over her shoulders depicting a set of scales right on the chest.
I had an inn at the Church of Tyr. Does anybody else want to take point here?
I could if no one else wants to, but Demir looks at the group like, I don't have any more of a claim to this than any of us, I suppose.
This is Lord Knox territory.
I cause death. I don't ferry the dead.
Could be a change of pace for you.
What? Throw another god into the soup of worship?
You're already racking up the numbers. Might as well add another to your tally.
Yes, I'm a pantheist. Fuck it. Let's good cop, bad cop this, Demir. Except for it's good cop, good cop.
All right.
Tag team. There's the term I'm looking for.
Demir will approach the priest and wait until she is no longer in meditation. Just, give her a moment.
When she opens her eyes and kind of turns to look at you, it's almost a little unsettling, but she has her very dark green eyes, and she seems to be looking right through you.
We're seeking an audience with the Oracle. We were sent from the Keeper of
Balance.
The Keeper of Balance over in Temple of Torm. We have a... Hold up my note.
I was informed that you would be on your way.
We are the Wild Roses. Are you the Oracle?
I am Oracle of Eternity, Nimue Bell.
You grace us with your presence.
Thank you for your audience. We are seeking entrance into the Mistgrove. We have urgent need of seeing the Temple of Mystra, we have some information about what is going on, specifically what is going on with the goddess and all of the strange events that have been happening across the world. The weave is unraveling without its keeper, and we happen to know somewhat of what has become of her. There is an archmage in Island who has captured and snared the goddess for his own purposes, and we are seeking to stop him, restore her place, and bring balance back, I suppose.
And the unraveling of the weave, as it were.
Stop that, yes.
Doesn't say anything. She's just watching and waiting for you to continue to speak.
We would appreciate your granting us permission into the city section that has been locked off so that we can try to help and understand what is happening. As I said, we are seeking to stop this archmage. In fact, we came close once, and it was by Mystra's blessing.
What do you imagine that going into this section of the city will allow you to do? Merely for my own curiosity.
We are seeking information from Agama's temple, as well as to see with our own eyes what has become of Mystra's temple.
The one in Saya has disappeared without a trace. Or one of the ones in Saya disappeared without a trace. We had the opportunity with the unraveling of the weave to travel back in time and meet with a cleric from, or a priest from the second era. We are hoping that being at another holy site of Mystra will impart more information and how to eventually stop this archmage.
And surely you believe that the temples in Alperen would be the way to get the answers you seek, rather than a temple elsewhere.
We tried. Temple in Opius has disappeared, and the residents of the city have no memory of it, nor of the goddess. We sought the temple in outside of Uvila, I think, Uvila, where we found it in its glory from the Blood Century before it disappeared. And now we are tracking the next one.
Kind of just looks at you all in silence, her face not giving anything away. And tell me, do you believe Mystra to be dead?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
He asked if you think Mystra is dead.
I don't think she's dead. I think she's bound, captured, and out of her own agency. But I believe she is still alive, holding out, waiting for rescue.
And what all are you willing to sacrifice to complete this rescue?
Yes.
We have already sacrificed years of our lives, blood, sweat, and tears, and I'm sure there will be more.
I've already died once trying to save her. I'm willing to do it again.
And her gaze kind of sweeps over the rest of the group, waiting for you all to answer as well.
Yeah, as soon as she posed the question, Aaron says, low and soft, like, everything I have and more.
She's pausing it all. Septimus would say, of course I'm here to give my all as well.
Tobias nods.
Good. The problem that Mystra's capture has posed is a greater problem than any that I could ever face or create. I am willing to sacrifice my future, and it's possible that perhaps I already have.
Lish.
Plenty has already been lost. I'm sure that more will be lost before the time is through.
I don't believe that she's dead. Death of a goddess would have been felt. If you believe that getting into the quarter of the city dedicated to her will assist you in your endeavor, you may have my blessing. She holds her hand out for the page that the Keeper of Balance already signed.
Demir will hand it over.
She seems to pull an ink pen out of nowhere and signs her own name with a flourish.
Thank you for your aid. It is greatly appreciated.
I wish you best of luck in your journey, and should you die in the process, I will remember you.
At least until reality unravels.
Demir will give a polite little bow and take the paper and start to kind of not power walk, not running, but just, start making her way towards the entrance with a little bit of hurry.
Purpose to your walk.
The purpose is I don't want to be in the death place anymore.
All right. So, do you guys try to go and get the blessing of the High Harvest Master, or do you think that 2 signatures will be enough for convincing the guards to let you through?
Worst thing that can happen
Might
is
as
the other
well
one says no.
give it a try.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Might
Might
as
try
well
to
go
pull
give
the
it a
hat
try.
trick.
And worst comes to worst, we have 2, and the Keeper of Balance said that that should be enough, so may as well. While we are like kind of walking, Demir will kind of just look towards Lish and say, I wonder if there's a temple to Saloon in the Shanti section, or if it is in the Miscland.
Maybe. I don't know what kind of magic it's going to be.
I think it probably just depend on whether Saloon is like a generic magic deity or like very specifically nature aligned.
She's the goddess of the moon.
Yeah, exactly. So
But
like,
she does nature and other stuff.
so she probably have some presence in Shanti's sector somewhere. Not a guarantee, but it is likely.
Not see anything to saloon in that sector of the city.
Okay.
All right. So you start making your way towards Mistglade. My son just came out of the closet, you guys. And on Pride Month too.
Wait, are we going to the Misclade or are we going to the Everbloom? I finally pulled up the names.
Might as well try at the Everbloom before whatever. We already got 2. Might as well try for 3. Worst thing that happens is he says no, and we have to try with 2.
Sure. I'm feeling confident.
Okay.
I'm not. All my
Adventure.
confidence been used up.
Too bad. You get to talk to all the deity chaplains.
Wouldn't our resident druids be a better face to talk to this god?
Nope.
Liz is
Never.
just like, fuck you. You deal with it.
Look, I'll always be here in case you screw things up.
You
mean when?
That's not what I said.
I'll like elbow Val and be like, where's your confidence?
To be fair, she has done a lot of talking today.
This is true.
I'll step up if you
Do
don't
a
want
bit
to.
more.
Yeah, voice getting tired, Valk?
I don't have a voice box that can tire.
No. The masking while being autistic's getting tiring. Anyway,
Also
let's
that.
play this by ear. Let's go bother the Shanti dude.
All right. So as I mentioned, the very heart of Everbloom is an ancient tree called Akheim. It is 150 meters high, a little over that, with a hollow base supported by mangrove-like roots. Within the space, there are many columns, creating a large central area. In the central area, the branches and limbs of the tree form a natural spiral staircase that can be moved up and down the tree. But upon entering the very base of the tree, you can see that this itself is the temple to Shanti. It itself is an elegant structure crafted from sustainable materials found around the forest, such as woven vines, polished stones, and aged wood. Its Design mirrors the organic beauty of the natural surroundings with arches that mimic the gracefully curving branches of the giant tree and columns adorned with intricate carvings of leaves, vines, and animals that symbolize Shanti's domain. The temple's altar, situated close to the central column of the giant tree, serves as the focal point for ceremonies and offerings to the goddess. Surrounding the altar are vibrant flowers, aromatic herbs, and softly flickering candles, creating an atmosphere of serenity and reverence. You can also see that at this time of the day, there are many people engaged in worship at this point. There are lots of people sort of kneeling on the ground in a sort of a circular pattern around the altar. There seems to be a coffer of some sort being passed around where people are placing offerings of grass, polished stones, pieces of fruit, seeds. And standing in the very center by the altar is a very tall man who seems, as he is sort of moving back and forth, addressing the crowd, carrying himself not only with authority, but with otherworldly grace. He has dark skin and tightly woven box braids pulled back into a ponytail. His eyes are a solid orangish gold and seem to glow like embers, and his ears are long and have feathers along the edges of the same color. He wears loose, flowing, wheat-colored robes, and you can tell that this man is an Azamar.
Ooh, all right.
Very exciting.
Harvest Master.
He is walking, speaking of the importance of sustainable harvesting and natural growth, respecting the environment, and planting for everything you take to ensure the restoration of the natural world.
Walk internally, just like, as a hunter, this man speaks to me.
Falk's just the circle of life in her head.
It's in the middle of a sermon. Do we have to wait for him to finish, or?
That would be the respectful thing to do.
Yeah.
Guys.
In fact, I think the most respectful would be to sit and listen. Or can listen, as it were.
Couldn't hurt. I'm a little curious anyway.
And Aaron will post up.
All right. You sit on the floor, and it's a little uncomfortable, but it's fine. There's worse places to be. Yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah, Valk joins the congregation. I'm
Is there like
trying.
any
I joined the
milling?
congressman.
Is there any like milling about going on? Could like Lish kind of walk around a little bit and take a peek in some nooks and crannies without like looking weird? He doesn't want to sit.
Yeah, you can kind of go around the outskirts of the roots of the Akheim.
Cool. That's what I'll do. I'm just
Mir will join.
exploring a little.
Okay. It's a very beautiful, very old tree. Hawk, what are you doing?
He's part of the sit and listen group.
Okay.
So
Cool. how long are you guys willing to sit and wait? Because, well, how long are you going to wait?
I mean, he's got to stop.
Aaron-
He's got to loop or stop at some point, right?
Yeah. I think Aaron's in here for the long haul.
Okay.
He's listening, he's paying
Lish,
attention. He's
after a
taking notes.
while, after a while, Lish might find like a priest that's like off to the side and just be like, "How long does this usually go on for?"
Priest explains that Thurman has another hour and a half to go.
It's like I'm switching.
Who's that?
Oh dear, Paylor.
Oh, you know. It's just like, we would like an audience with him once he's done speaking. Is there some kind of area that he goes once he is done where we might wait?
He typically stays here beneath the Hawkheim to speak to any pilgrims who wish to receive his blessing.
Okay.
All right.
He's just like, ugh.
We'll wrap up soon. I see the time. So eventually his sermon does stop and people sort of start trying to gather around him to again ask for his blessings or to give more offerings to the altar. All sorts of fun stuff like that. And he may join the cluster if you so choose.
Yeah.
Lish will wait for a bit, but if anybody else wants to go up and wait in line.
Might as well save a spot.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Aaron will
I'll
stay
move up
sitting
there.
until it seems like we're doing something.
All right. Aaron, it is eventually your turn to talk to him if you want.
Alrighty. Yeah, Aaron will go up. And is Hawk coming with him?
If they can have the same spot in line, then he'll go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys are going up together.
Yeah, sure.
And he'll have waited so that like he's not blocking other people, since this might be a sec. And I'll say, excuse me, we are hoping to call upon your position as one of the city's spiritual leaders.
How can I guide you?
We are on a mission of utmost importance, to try to deal with some of the time stuff, stress stuff that's been happening, and to do so, we have been hoping to check out the quarantined order here. We have made our case with the other two guys in town, and been an audience there, and now we seek your blessing.
I'm sorry, my child, but that section of the city has been closed for a reason.
Hey, don't I know it well? We have firsthand experienced many of the instruments of Mystra's current ending. We have gone through a number of time slips, and we have gotten a few chances to her and to try to figure out what has happened to her. We have come fairly far in this journey. We now know, well, where approximately she is, not completely what is happening to her there. But it seems like we're close. And the more we know, the better it's going to be for us when we try to actually get there and do something about it.
Believe me when I say that I have examined the situation within Mythglade myself, and it was decided that it would be for the best if we prevent the curse that has afflicted those within Mythglade from spreading. It is of utmost importance that this sector, the Everbloom, the Arkheim, is safe, as we are the ones responsible for feeding the entire city.
Perhaps we may learn from you then. What is this curse that you speak of?
It is of an arcane nature. I cannot go into specifics.
If I may, we have several talented healers in our group, and we've also got experience with things that I dared not even imagine before I set out with them. I am fully confident that we'd be able to find what we need and still guarantee the safety of the 3 sectors, and the other 2 spiritual leaders of the city seem just as confident in our ability as we are.
You believe that the healers in your group are more adept at handling this situation than an entire city full of priests?
That's not what I meant to imply at all, no. I merely meant to imply that
we would be able to take care of our own party.
More importantly, not to let the sickness spread outside of the quarantine that's been imposed. The curse.
I would love to say that we could do something for the curse itself, but I do not know. I only speak for our ability to keep ourselves from spreading it outwards.
I think after seeing that there's a fair amount of back and forth and haughtiness, Falk probably steps into the conversation at this point.
So Falk cuts in line.
Good point.
Well, not so much cuts in line, but kind of puts a hand on Aaron's shoulder and leans in to, well, Aaron, but also kind of towards the gardener Deuterino. I can't remember his title because my brain's
Harvest
dying.
Master?
Harvest Master,
Harvest
thank
Master.
you. And she just kind of, as quietly as possible, goes, you do realize with Mystra remaining missing, whatever curse is happening in the magic sector is only gonna be the start of your troubles, and things will proceed to worsen before Mystra can be reinstated.
Aaron nods and says, we have encountered areas of unpredictable magic or of step time streams and have returned to them to find them significantly advanced.
Understand that I have the utmost empathy for the situation of Mystra, but my duty is to protect the people of Alperen. And when a handful have fallen victim to a curse that we have no knowledge of how to reverse or prevent or repair, it was decided that the sector would be locked to protect the vast majority of citizens so that we could continue to feed the region.
Well, it'll be pretty hard to protect Alperen when there isn't any Alperen left with the weave collapsing.
Valkyria.
We are
He looks at you and kind of frowns, like,
Aaron.
Are you threatening Alperen?
I'm merely stating the truth of the situation. That if the situation isn't resolved, that is the ultimate ending of this, be it today, tomorrow, or 1,000 years down the line.
I think
no one can exist without the weave.
I think perhaps the more pressing issue to address here is that if something does happen, we will leave as quickly as we can and as discreetly as we can, I suppose.
I would like for you each to make an individual persuasion check.
Let's see. You.
Ooh, that's good.
15.
Okay.
No, 16.
Oh, lovely. What's your inspiration die at the moment, Demir? Isn't it a D6?
D6.
Because I literally rolled the exact same number. Nine, 17.
25.
Jesus, Aaron.
This is an important check.
So, you guys, when looking at this man, can tell that he is coming from a very genuine place. He is worried about the situation, but he is also trying to make sure that the city doesn't starve. Whatever this curse is, it's preventing the people of Mystra from doing something within that section. And he's really worried about this. And he's not a bad guy. He's just trying to protect people in the way that he thinks is best. But with you guys all speaking together to try to persuade him of this, he sighs and very reluctantly takes a piece of charcoal and finds the paper. High Harvest Master Rafin Najar.
Promise to make sure you don't regret this decision.
Thank you very much.
Ashanti's light guides you on your journey.
Just as it may guide you on yours.
And with that, that is where we will call session for the day.
3 out of 3.
3 out of 3.
Fetch quest completed.
Extra credit filled.
All right, guys. Thanks for playing.
Thanks for DMing.
Thanks for
Super fun as always.
This is a super interesting city. I love it.
Thank you.
I'll talk to y'all later.
And also a very interesting situation we found ourselves in, huh?
All
Good
right.
negotiating, guys. A+.
A+. Bye.
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 Have a good week, y'all. Oh, the meeting didn't end.